Now let's talk about rents first and foremost. How do we come up with our rents? Okay, here's one of the fun reports. Oh, crap. You can't read any of this, can you? Can you read any of that online? It has not. Okay. Okay. CoStar manages and collects all the data everywhere. And they sell it to the taxing authority, who also then raises our taxes on all the properties. They take every property, they put it in here, they put all the data in here, as far as average unit size, number of stories, number of units, square footage, the asking rents. Now let's first dispel one myth, okay? The rents that are in my presentation that I was just showing you, when I said what their current rents are, those are what we call effective rents, okay? There's market rents, effective rents, performer rents, okay? The effective rents are the rents what they're actually getting, okay? We take the rent roll and average each floor plan on what they're receiving for each one of those floor plans, which is what they actually get, what the leases say they're paying in rent. Because market rent, on the other hand, you can say that a unit is $800 a month. Well, first off, if I take, even if 100 units are occupied at $800 and I raise the rents to $1,000, that's now market rent, quote unquote, but every single lease says $800, correct? So what you could argue, in some of the BS, some of the things that happen, is people say, oh, there's a $200 difference between market rents and effective rents, so all you have to do is burn off those concessions and raise everybody from 800 to 1,000, okay? Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's crap. And so you've got to really look at the numbers. So first question to ask is the rents that you're showing me effective rents or market rents? Okay, when you're looking at something. I'm showing you effective rents on showing where we are now, okay? Because asking rents is the same as market rents, okay? Make sure to correct me if I'm saying something wrong back there, because sometimes it sounds right in my head, okay? But they're not actually getting those rents, because leases will say something different. Something's nice on this, it does say their current rents are $8.99, last quarter $8.99, a year ago $8.33. So they've already raised them 66 bucks or 8 cents a foot. Now the competitors are $8.99 or $1.13 a foot. But the whole submarket $9.46 or $1.14. Okay? Now that's for every property, the lower quality and the higher quality properties. So this just gives a rough estimate of what's happening everywhere. Okay? Rent summary here. Okay. Basically, of all those properties, the verandas at number 1, all the way down to alcove at number 17, which you can see on this map on where they're located. So for example, number 6, Mercer Park, is a little bit far away to be considered a comp. Probably so is number 11. But our property is right here, and these are all in that same pocket, north of 30 and west of 360. They're everything. Okay? Now, you can look on this side, then it gives a rating, 1 to 5 stars. Okay? And they're giving us a 2.5. Now, Cedar Bend right here, they're given a 2. Okay? And their rents are a little bit higher. But basically, to give you a ballpark, looking at all 17 of those units, we're right in the middle of the pack. Now, we're assuming, now, they just recently completed the rehab on the exterior. There is loss to lease to burn off, and that there is room for rents to move up. Okay, so that's what we budget for, is that we're spending an extra $7,000 a door to fix up the property. So we think we can bump it up this ladder of all of the comps into higher rents. Okay? See all those? About a little less than half is interior. A lot of the units, they pretty much all have black appliances already. Most of the interiors are updated. A lot of the CapEx, we'll go over the whole CapEx budget here in a second. But you can see older properties in here that are cheaper, 1970, 76, 66, 78. So there's room to move them on up on this list. Okay? This is CoStar, yes. This is ordered specifically for that property. And Walker Holder, if you see their name on the very bottom down here, that's prepared by Walker Holder. They're the ones that ran the report. They're the ones that pay the couple $1,000s a month for having the access to this information. And then they go ahead and give them the information for their properties for free. I never like that. I think there should be a quid pro quo. But that was a quick sidebar that we should probably edit out. I'm sorry this is so slow. I'm trying to get down to, because they will, okay, rent comparables by bedroom. Okay? So it shows where we are on that list, all the way down to the one-bedroom rents. Okay? This shows high and low rents with a, I don't know if it's a mean or a median for the rents for each of the properties. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 properties that have higher rents than us. So we're assuming that we can bump rents up higher to compete with those. Now you can't look at any one thing. You can't look at the quality of the property. You can't look at the rent per square foot. You can't look at rent per unit. You can't even look at the unit size, because there might be differences in the layouts that make them more attractive or less attractive. So there really is a lot of art to this. You good? Okay. So that's where Vicki gets in there, and she looks at all of the comps. She looks at ours, and she comes up with where her rents are. Okay? So there's people that are the mean of those. There's many that are lower, but there's many that are higher. So we're just assuming that we can bump up and move ourselves up on that list. And that's the one bedrooms. And here are the two bedrooms. Okay? Two bedrooms as high as $1,339. I think our highest budget was $1,150. Okay? So I just want to show you, this is one of the tools we look at is the CoStar report. We also look at I know you can't read this. CoStar is only something you have access to if you want to pay for it. Or develop a relationship with a management company or somebody or brokers that pay for it. And but all of the brokers have it. So if you're looking at a property, you can ask them to run the comps for you. I would show you the private placement, in the private placement memorandum are the comps that the broker provides showing the higher rents. But again, brokers are salespeople, so they might be full of crap. So we verify it with other data. Now, just to give you an idea, here is part of the budget that Vicki goes through and does. These are market rents and where we think we're going to get those to. Okay? So she's assuming $1.23 in rents. Okay? Correct, Vicki? $1.23? $1.23 on here. Okay? Okay. Then she takes, and this is a giant spreadsheet that comes up with that. I'm sure she didn't create on her own. I'm sure this is a Walker Holder probably product. Or is it? No, you built this? Okay. Okay, what factors are we coming up with the rents? That's what I was explaining a second ago. It's really an art. You have to compare all of it. The access to the property, the frontage on the road, the, quite honestly, the quality of management, the floor plan, the amenities. There's not one thing you can pick. It's really an art to go through and say, what can we get this for? And then another part of that equation is, hey, you know, me, Ken, Vicki, we all say we can get this, but the managers have to believe it. If they don't believe it, we don't get it. Okay? Sometimes in some properties, nobody back there, by the way, sometimes you have to convince them the value of it so that they can sell it and actually get those rents. Okay? So that's another part of the equation, which is why Ken's out there and Vicki's out there pushing them. Okay, that gets dropped down into a budget. Just to give you an idea, she's saying in this first year that in rent, if somebody wants to write any of this down just for comparative, rent $2,848,000. Other income, $288,000. More utility reimbursement of $18,000. So this is really a key one. $3,155,000 in income. Okay? That's what Vicki says we will do. And she does it, Ken looks at it, Pat looks at it, so it's not just her, it's the whole team that looks at it to come up with what that number is. Okay? $3,155,000. Now, let's go back to the investment presentation. Come on. Okay, now here's the investment presentation that we put into the PPM. Okay. I'm saying in my budget, in the private placement memorandum, $3,098,000 in income. Okay. She's saying that it's going to be $50,000 higher than that. I like her number better, but what I'm telling you is a little bit lower than that because I want to sandbag it a little bit. Okay. 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 Well, again, we play with these numbers all day long, every day. So, oh, actually, I take that back. This is the stress test version. You saw that I had stress test version on there? That's because I go in there and I play with the numbers constantly. Say, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? Okay, so the income, $3,056,000. So $100,000 less than what she thinks it's going to be. Okay. Now I did say, again, for those of you who remember this, minimum $2,967,000 or possibly as high as $3,214,000. But I want to say that we're going to do $3,056,000. The current collections are $2,948,000. So over this year, over next year, only $100,000 in difference. We should be able to do that without spending an extra nickel on the property. Okay? Now, then we take that. Now, if you look at this right here, that's 20% economic loss. That's your actual physical vacancy plus your collection loss. Okay? You know the difference? Remember my example that if all of a sudden I take market rents, everybody's paying $800 and I raise it to $1,000? Well, you're going to have a 20% collection loss because the leases are $200 less than you're asking of $1,000. So you're going to have a 20% loss right there. So we're raising the rents, so we're going to have a large loss. So our whole idea is to buy this and burn that loss off as we raise rents as the leases expire. The way that I break that down is I break it down with 8% vacancy. Okay? Are we beating 8% vacancy? Take a clue from Ken over there. Yes, we're doing better than an 8% vacancy. But that's what we plug in here. Then I put in 12% collection loss year one, but then I drop it down to collection loss of 4%, 3%, and 2% for the next 5 years. Okay. Now, did you hear what was also on there? Some of the largest rent growth in DFW has been Arlington. Any idea what it's been growing every year? It said it on the screen, okay. 9.2, it's been, well, the last 2 years it's been over 7% per year. Maybe the last 3 years, over 7% per year. But I'm budgeting that we're going to be raising those rents, and then it's only going to go up 4% per year thereafter. Okay? Everybody say hi, Charity. Hi, everybody. Okay. So that income will be going up every year. Okay, you follow that? So those are the main parts of income. Be sure to visit us at darwingerman.com. There you can register for all of our information and see all of the videos. And make sure to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos.